Fire up your iPods and set your aim away message to edgy song lyrics, because we're turning back the clock 20 years to October 2005.
It's been 8 months since the Gizmondo release, but it's back in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons.
Politicians had their sights set on gaming, with one senator in particular trying to bully developers right out of the market.
So join us as we rewind to the games, scandals, and unforgettable moments that made October 2005 one wild month in gaming.
October 2005 was on fire with new game releases as the world was gearing up for the release of the Xbox 360 in November. Sony countered Microsoft's next-gen buzz with Shadow of the Colossus, a haunting minimalist adventure where you ride across vast empty plains and occasionally take down skyscraper-sized beasts in the name of love. Quiet, unique, and unforgettable, its footprint on gaming history was just as massive as the Colossi themselves. Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories brought sandbox chaos to the PSP, turning it into pocket-sized mayhem. This prequel to Grand Theft Auto 3 follows mobster Tony Ciaprani as he tries to keep his mafia family on top. In the same month, Rockstar Games released a bundle of Grand Theft Auto games, aptly titled Grand Theft Auto: The Trilogy. This compilation featured GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. Most notably, this was the first copy of San Andreas released without the infamous Hot Coffee mod.
Leave us alone for a minute.
Pokémon XD Gale of Darkness released for the Nintendo GameCube and immediately won 2005's Edgiest Game Award for its title alone. The premise of the game was to rescue shadow Pokémon by essentially stealing them from other trainers. The GameCube also received Dance Dance Revolution, Mario Mix, a crossover absolutely nobody had on their bingo card. Mario and friends bust a move to restore the magical music keys stolen by Waluigi and Bowser, unleashing a dance fever across the Mushroom Kingdom like it was 1518. That one's for the history buffs. It was a big month for PC gaming, as Fear was released, earning its name as it terrified even the most seasoned horror gamers. I'm told Fear stands for First Encounter Assault Recon, but the first time Alma shows up in a dark hallway, it might as well have meant forget everything and run. Quake 4 also hit PCs, serving as a direct sequel to Quake 2's storyline. The game had a renewed focus on single-player gameplay, but the multiplayer lacked innovation as critics said the gameplay was too similar to Quake 3. Before the days of yearly sequels, Call of Duty 2 hit PC with a memorable campaign that let you fight World War II through 4 different characters across 3 armies. That reminds me of a joke. A Russian, an American, and 2 British guys walk into a bar, and wait, was it 2 Americans and a Brit?
October brought tricks, treats, and tech no one really asked for. While Sony and Microsoft was busy hyping the future, smaller companies showed up with gadgets more like party store costume than next-gen console. If you remember the GameWave family entertainment system, odds are you were the 70,000 people who actually bought one. This unique little game console DVD player hybrid put families first, focusing on trivia and board game style titles.
What we're going to do is we're going to play a trivia game with multiple choice, and you answer by pressing A, B, C, or D.
Imagine a toaster that only made 1 slice of bread in 2025. That's about how well it sold. The GameWave might have won over Grandma for about a minute, but with the Wii right around the corner, Zappit never stood a chance.
All right, sci-fi.
The GameWave wasn't the only game console trying to make a splash. The European game console Gizmondo stumbled into Western markets, slipped on a banana peel, and fell right onto its face, Mondo. The company failed to take on Nintendo and Sony as promised, but the far more juicier headlines were of the Gizmondo CEO and Ferrari aficionado Stefan Eriksson. A local newspaper tied Eriksson and other Gizmondo executives to a Swedish crime ring.
He doesn't care much about principles, do you?
In the 1980s and 1990s, Eriksson served prison time for theft, cocaine, fraud, and counterfeiting. He became known as the locals as the banker, while Swedish police knew him as Fat Steve. After the newspaper revealed Ericsson's past and Gizmondo's questionable financial situation, Ericsson and the others resigned. A year later, Ericsson gained further attention when he crashed his $2 million Ferrari.
Chris, that Ferrari Enzo was nearly obliterated in the high-speed crash along the PCH. The occupants who were protected inside its Formula One-styled cockpit walked away. But one of those men, Stefan Ericsson, isn't escaping attention.
Not as scandalous as Gizmondo, but way more important to gamers, Sony laid out its long-term vision for the PSP. CEO Howard Stringer promised a future where we could stream our favorite TV shows anywhere with built-in Wi-Fi. It sounded incredible in 2005. Just imagine watching the latest episode of Supernatural in glorious 420 by 272 resolution. We didn't know how good we had it. And finally, Sony president Ken Kutaragi took the stage at the Tokyo International Digital Conference to claim that the upcoming PlayStation 3 would stream games at 120 frames per second. Bold words that were completely out of sync with reality. Not only were there no commercial TVs capable of running at 120 Hz refresh rate, but no retail game ever hit 120 FPS on PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4.
Ultra-powerful graphics chip, a larger hard drive, and HDMI capabilities.
It wasn't until the PlayStation 5 where his prophecy finally came true. But hey, at least the hype was real.
October 2005 cranked the gaming headlines up to 11, dropping some of the wildest stories of the year.
They were loud, and they were angry outside Rockstar Company headquarters.
While most of Germany was busy celebrating Oktoberfest, a crew of thieves had other plans, breaking into a warehouse and stealing 10 Xbox 360 development kits. Dev kits were essentially prototype consoles meant for studios, so losing them was a pretty big deal. Reports at the time estimated the kits worth thousands of dollars each. Police did eventually recover 3 of the stolen units, but the other 7 were never found.
Quickly, give me 3 gold pieces now, and they're yours.
In the same month, Electronic Arts settled a lawsuit by agreeing to pay $15.6 million to graphic designers who had been denied overtime due to a job misclassification. The case, along with the well-known EA spouse lawsuit, settled the following year, led to a reclassification of employees so that all EA staff became eligible for overtime pay by law. A win for development teams is a win for gamers.
Oh man, did you pick the wrong street to run on?
With the Xbox 360 console set to launch in November, Microsoft finally revealed its launch day lineup stacked with certified bangers. Need for Speed Most Wanted, Perfect Dark Zero, Amp 3, and Call of Duty 2 were all day one titles. Games so good, we were all ready to unlock the Empty Wallet achievement.
Bolt on or not, that ride is hot.
UK Parliament member Keith Voss declared war on Rockstar's upcoming Bullied, calling for a government ban over its depictions of schoolyard violence, arguing that the game glamorizes bullying and encourages children to act out violence in schools. The controversy forced Rockstar to release Bully as the Canis Canem edit in the UK, and the world rejoiced as all children were finally saved. No more violence, no more hunger, no more poverty, and we never heard from Rockstar again. Thank you, Keith. You did it.
Come here, you little... Yeah, come and get me.
And last but not least, gaming giant Valve made one of the biggest moves in its history, at least before Half-Life 3 gets announced. Before October 2005, Steam was basically just a launcher for Valve's own titles, like Half-Life 2 and Counter-Strike Source. But this month, Valve opened the doors to third-party games in the first step to transform Steam into a dominant digital storefront and reshaping the future of PC gaming.
Or was it 2 Americans and a Brit? Oh, right! New game releases. The first third-party game to be released on Steam was Ragdoll Kung Fu, a wacky physics game developed by Mark Healy of Little Big Planet fame. The game went on to become a cult classic and became an early viral meme as gamers recorded the characters dancing to in-game music, over 10 years before TikTok dance trends took the world by storm. This next game had players saying, "Just one more turn!" Civilization 4 launched on PC, complete with a viral ad for a fake support group called Civilization Anonymous, poking fun at how addictive the series had already become, complete with a topical mid-2000s cameo.
I was a big fan of the religious aspect of Civ 4, you know, big fan, dating back to the church in Rome. Did you know that they spoke Latin back then? There's a whole language that they spoke.
And my personal favorite release of the month, Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, became the first Castlevania release on the DS. As a lifelong fan, I was all in on Soma Cruz's anti-Destiny arc, sealing bosses with stylus glyphs, juggling souls, and trying very hard not to become the new Dark Lord. 20 years later, that just feels like a regular Monday, am I right? Objection! The courtroom finds Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, guilty on all charges of being a charming court case simulator and a puzzling point-and-click adventure game with kooky characters and even crazier naming conventions. Phoenix Wright launched for the Nintendo DS in North America and went on to become a huge cult hit, winning over fans with its wit and style. Serious Sam 2 went even bigger and louder, leaning into a cartoonish galaxy-hopping fetch quest to collect 5 medallion pieces so Sam could finally punch Mental in the face. Basically therapy, but with fewer copays. It's tricky for the SSX franchise to capture the success of its earliest games, but SSX on Tour took a jab at it and did fine. The game removed online multiplayer to the chagrin of fans, but added the ability to create your own snowboarder or skier. The GameCube version of the game also featured cameos from Mario and friends, since Nintendo can't resist a good crossover. Saving the best for last, EA took everything players loved about the first Battlefront, kicked it into hyperspace, and gave us Star Wars Battlefront 2. From X-Wing space battles to lightsaber duels on Tatooine, it finally made you feel like you were part of the Star Wars galaxy, without the whole sleeping inside a tauntaun part.
Video games were all over pop culture in October 2005, bringing gaming from the TV screen to the big screen, and then back to the TV screen again. 2005 was a big year for Penguin lovers. The Pittsburgh Penguins drafted star player Sidney Crosby. The surprising hit documentary March of the Penguins waddled into theaters. And most importantly, Club Penguin left beta in October, kicking off one of the most beloved MMOs of all time. Suddenly, kids everywhere were decorating igloos, flexing their puffles, and desperately begging their parents for a membership card at Target. It was a big month for the Doom franchise. Bethesda released Doom 3, Resurrection of Evil for Xbox, Doom RPG for mobile phones, and even made the leap to the big screen. Starring Carl Urban, Rosamund Pike, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the movie pulled in only $58.7 million against a $60 million budget. Let's just say, The Rock hadn't taken a hit this hard since losing to Stone Cold at WrestleMania 17. The Governor himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger, signed a California law banning the sale of violent video games to minors. Developers told him they'd be back. And they were, when the courts eventually struck it down in 2011. The Supreme Court looked at the law and said, "Hasta la vista, baby," ruling it unconstitutional under the First Amendment.
He and 4 other justices called research linking video games like this to increased violence in children not compelling and indistinguishable from effects produced by other media like books or Saturday morning cartoons.
In a twist on the usual movie-to-game flop, October 2005 delivered a solid adaptation of The Warriors. It probably helped that Rockstar Games was behind it. Critics praised its combat mechanics and its role in reviving the brawler genre. Finally, we had a movie game that made gamers want to come out and play. Hollywood and the gaming industry were really cozying up in October 2005 with the upcoming Halo movie, with Neil Blomkamp set to direct and Weta lined up for the effects. Unfortunately, the film failed to exit pre-production. Even Steven Spielberg threw his hat in the ring. EA announced they'd be collaborating with the famous director on 3 original games. But only one of those games ever saw the light of day. The Wii's physics-based puzzle hit, Boom Blocks. The game was well received, but I was disappointed we didn't get a Catch Me If You Can stealth game. Game Informer magazine featured a cover story interview with David Jones, original designer of Grand Theft Auto and developer of the upcoming Xbox 360 exclusive Crackdown. The game promised to revolutionize the open world genre with cityscapes, superhuman strength, and online multiplayer. To wrap up the month, XPlay aired their Halloween special, which included a deep dive of the history of the Resident Evil franchise up to that point. This coincided with the release of Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 2, which originally released earlier that year on the GameCube. The episode also featured 2 zombies reviewing simulator games, Harvest Moon, Railroad Tycoon 3, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. They rated each game as grains, trains, and planes.
That's it for October 2005. We climbed giants in Shadow of the Colossus, watched The Rock fight demons in Doom, and logged into Club Penguin for the first time. What were you playing in October 2005? Let us know in the comments. And remember to hit subscribe so you can join us next time when we explore November 2005. The dawn of a new console generation, plastic guitars taking over living rooms, and a certain racing game finally going online. See you then.